Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Fred, and welcome back to the Healthy Healer. And today I have a very special guest star, someone that I have actually had some contact with a few years ago as we were in the same group learning how to be public speakers with our good friend Majid. And so the dancing gypsy doctor is Dr. Alla Goldman. And Alla is someone who has really gone through a wonderful career of her own. And as far as I remember, has actually been in the emergency rooms and has done some, classical work inside of the conventional medical model, but is in some ways as far away from the conventional medical model as yours truly at this point, really delivering on a new and special and honest to goodness, like effective way of helping people heal. So thank you so much for being part of the Healthy Healer, Alla. It's really an honor to have you here as my guest today.
Thank you, Fred. I am just, as Bob Proctor said, I'm not surprised anymore, but I'm always amazed. I'm amazed at your journey from where we first met to, wow, look at me now, look at Dr. Fred. And I'm so honored to speak to the topic that is very near and dear to my heart because it is the healing the healer, because the healers actually get the boot
Yeah. Let's
and
talk a
no
little bit about
recognition.
that. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's go back a little ways and you can go back as far as you like, but for a while there you had come down Main Street in the conventional medical model. For a while there you were doing like a basic or at least some degree of conventional medicine, right? Or at least you had entered the ring close enough to being asked to being counted on or accountable for delivering conventional medical care. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say, and being a first generation immigrant, I got my MD actually in Soviet Union, which is the country that is no more. And because the country in a way was so poor, we used a lot of non-conventional alternative or whatever ways. So we knew more about herbs, and the acupuncture was practiced in clinics because whatever it is, whatever it takes to get better without necessarily all the options that Western medicine has to offer right now. So when I came here, I went into traditional family practice residency where they condition you to follow the directives, which was very interesting coming from the communist brainwashed country that I've been
Right,
from.
right,
So to me, it was, on one hand, yes, I want to become a doctor and I want to help people and I want to heal people. On the other hand, it's the same brainwashing that I've just went through when we reprinted the history of Communist Party 7 times till the government loved it.
right.
So I entered as a traditional family doctor, and while doing this, I had employed homeopathy and energy work and acupuncture because I'm licensed in acupuncture and a whole bunch of other modalities because the bottom line was it's body, mind, spirit. And that was my true belief and still is.
Right, for sure. And so
So,
where did you
yes,
get all the training, like the licensing of acupuncture? Did that happen in the Soviet Union or did it happen when
that
you came here?
in the Soviet Union, I was interested, but I didn't pursue it. Here, there was an actually, it's still a course through UCLA done by the father of American medical acupuncture. It is course that is open to medical doctors, osteopathic doctors. You have to have a basic knowledge of anatomy and all this stuff, and then learn the acupuncture part of it.
Okay.
And it
Like
is an amazing modality.
right, like classical acupuncture. I have my acupuncture appointment tomorrow actually. I have one each week. So, yep, I do. I had a significant medical event. I'm not sure you knew that earlier this year. So acupuncture is really helping me a lot for that. All
It
right, so
does.
let's talk a little bit about like what has happened. What is it that, one of the things in the healthy healer that we look at is the journey that you took for, and we'll say from Soviet Union, or we'll say upon arriving here and being a traditional family practitioner, at least for a few days before you decided that you had to do it differently. What is it that you learned over time that was being asked of you that you no longer that was inauthentic, that you were being asked to do as a family practitioner that may not have been aligned with who you really are, that you then had to become Dr. Allah, the dancing gypsy doctor, in order to compensate?
It's a very interesting question. And I think what makes me very different is I always had a motto: answers should be questioned.
Beautiful. Hmm.
So, being around as many decades as we've been around, we've
Hmm.
seen the rise and fall and the rise and fall and the rise and fall. We're doing this today, and every patient must be on this. And tomorrow we'll say, oh, excuse me, we screwed up. Take all the patients off. So it is amazing to watch certain things that we were required to do mandatorily for the patients. For example, hormone pills, which we knew were coming from pregnant mare's urine or horse piss. And we were supposed to put all women on it regardless, till we realized that we're actually creating more harm than good, and then reneged
Right.
everything. So to me, first of all, it is losing the freedom, which is what this country was founded on. I have a freedom of speech, which means that you can disagree with my opinion and I'm not going to be censored. This is a lot what I've seen because I was working front lines when COVID started, and a lot of things in Philadelphia inner city. That's for those who don't know, 2 hours from New Jersey, 2 hours from New York.
Yeah.
So we had no idea what's going on, and I felt it's up to me as a physician, which means a teacher, to get the information from both sides so I can advise people on make decisions correctly. Now, emergency room is very different. That's where I can make a lot of difference without having to follow the prescribed protocols for certain things. And
Right.
that to me was very rewarding because I could help you right now. I can make you feel better right now. But then you go back and perpetuate the problems that got you into my emergency room to begin with. So I wanted to catch people before they fall off the Niagara Fall cliff,
Right.
because I know if we change the mindset, if I teach them how to be in charge of their health and how to have joy and how to have happiness and how to find, Japanese have the word for it, ikigai. What gets you out of bed in the morning? Because if nothing gets you out of bed, let me tell you, you will have every disease under the sun
Right. That's
and be
right.
miserable. So I wanted to help people find that something in them that keeps them attached to this aliveness while we're alive, not when we're ready to say goodbye to this world.
Right.
And I'm going to make a comment because this book I just started, I listened to book, the Dancing Gypsy Doctor actually travels quite a bit in my truck with my dog. So I listen to books. This book, I think, personally, I believe has to be mandatory reading for every single person in the world. And
Wow.
I've
Which
known
book is
this lady.
this?
I'll tell you, I've known this lady. I've read her first book decades ago. She is the mother of American Holistic Medical Association. She has been my inspiration for decades. She wrote the book, The Physician Within. Well, just now, there is a book that she came out. She is 102 years old. She is a Spitfire. She has a 10-year plan for the future life at 102. At 95, she actually popped out of the cake for her birthday,
Nice.
and she wrote the book, Well Lived Life. The 102-year-old doctor, um, six secrets to life of health and happiness. And she has the expression of Aging to Health. Her name is Gladys McGarry. She is absolutely amazing. And that's what she talks about. Find your juice, connect to something that is going to get you going. And she gives you those simple secrets that we all know and we don't practice. And I
Right.
felt like this is my gift and my mission and my reason for beingness is what I can bring. I'm not gonna go fight, you know, the war on something I don't believe in fighting. But what I believe in is if I can help you get connected to that inside, that innocence, that full of magic, that wake up and ready to just welcome the day regardless of circumstances, then you can be in charge of your own health.
Beautiful. So, what are the things that are your juice? Is this your juice? Are you actually speaking to your juice? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What
That
is something you
is,
connect to?
yes,
Yeah.
that is part of my juice. And I didn't realize it till magic happens. And if we really, really are looking for answers, truly, not just like, oh, God, why don't you fix it? But really participating. This is when the new modality, which is called transcendence, happened. Conscious dance has been around forever. Look at the Bible. In just about every chapter, they talk about dancing. In Indian philosophy, Shiva spun universe while dancing. Every culture dances. And it's about movement. That's what Dr. Gladys talks about. No matter what, try to move one finger, get the things moving. So, what I realized was when we start moving, we release, that expression, your issues live in your tissues,
Right.
your body keeps the score,
Yeah.
your organs shed the tears that eyes never did.
Yeah.
When we allow the body to move us to music, the cells and the tissues actually have a chance to say, if you move this way, I can release what's stored. I can show you how to decrease pain. I can show you what needs loving. I can show you the shadows that need to be danced with. And it creates that deeper inner peace, that shalom, the shanti. When you are in that state, you make totally different decisions.
Yeah.
They come
Yeah.
from the heart.
Yeah.
So you don't go, oh, Dr. Fred, you're my enemy because you look to the left side and I look to the right side. And when we look the opposite sides, we cannot come together. When we are in the state of peace, we realize we're all one. And
Beautiful.
that's what I'm on a mission for, to get the world dancing
Get the world dancing.
intuitively,
That's
freeform.
fan.
Put
Yeah.
the music on and just move to it. It doesn't matter. Just sway one finger. Because as long as you can imagine, the body doesn't know the difference. And
Yeah.
if you don't believe me, do you know, Dr. Fred, that famous experiment with a piece of lemon?
What is that? I don't know the experience.
So if you close your eyes and you imagine you just walked
Oh
into the
yeah.
store, the
Hmm.
grocery store, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they just had this cut up piece of lemon, and you walked by and you got a whiff and you go, oh, I have to taste it. And you took this fresh squeezed dripping juice piece, you put it in your mouth, you bit into it, and tell me if your saliva is not going, and you, there
Right.
is no lemon.
Right.
There is no, your body doesn't know the difference.
Right.
So when you talk shit to your body, it's gonna give you shit back. When
Hmm.
we talk nice to the body, when we give it a hug and say thank you for carrying me, thank you for helping me, it's gonna say, well, Let me show you how I can help more.
Yeah. Fantastic. That's really great, Alla. That's really is truly inspiring. I want to know, how did you implement that into your MD practice? You know, most of the MD world is pretty constricted and pretty contracted and pretty responsible and urgent, like urgently doing what they are told is right. And it might not include, gypsy dance as part of it. How did you incorporate that into being a doctor?
First, there was a decision that I'm not going to take the medical system on, not mine to do.
Not your circus. Yeah.
Nope, nope. But what I can do is I can empower people. How can I empower people? When you feel you are enough, when you feel, especially for women, when we look in the mirror, there is like a 300-page list of things that we notice that are wrong. What would it feel like to look in the mirror lovingly and say, that's a cool person looking back at me? When you come to that place, your life starts to change. Your health starts to change. Dr. Bruce Lipton 40 years ago said that we, with our thoughts alone, can unravel our DNA, unravel it back. We can change the how long we live. We can change the response of the immune system. So, without saying anything about being on front lines, it was one of those areas in Philadelphia that you don't necessarily choose to go to unless you have to. And the people, although I love that population, they're also suffering. And we don't know, they all have families, they all have young children, they are scared. Everybody is scared. So my rule of thumb was, when I come in, the first thing that happens is we put the music on. And my team know Dr. G is coming on, we better have music on. And every hour to 2 hours, when I felt the energy was starting to get a little, I would say, okay, 2-minute dance break. They taught me salsa, they taught me bachata. We had fun. It was 1 minute of laughing that created also a different energy in patients. They thought, well, if the team is dancing, then maybe we can dance too a little bit, or at least crack a smile. Maybe the life is not going to be over today. And that alone is enough to make you feel better. I used to prescribe comedies for my patients. I said,
Mm,
you're not allowed to watch anything unless it's 24 hours of like good comedy. Just
mm,
keep laughing. And by
mhm,
the way, 3 hugs an hour at least. I wrote
mhm.
scripts for that.
For
It
3
wasn't
hugs
much
an hour.
appreciated. Yes,
Mhm. And what kind of comedy, is there a particular comedy that you find to be most enjoyable?
I don't like when there is, I don't know what you call it in here, when people beat the crap out of each other and laugh at each
Yeah,
other. That's just
mm,
not my thing.
right.
There are a lot of, cartoons, there are a lot of good feel comedy
Mhm. Yeah,
that just makes you laugh. And it's been proven over and over and over again that it improves your survival rate from cancer, it improves your health and well being. It just, anytime you can laugh,
you see this?
woohoo!
Yeah.
I should show you another book that I bring with me everywhere, and it's called Live, Laugh, Love.
Yeah,
That
beautiful.
used to be my, absolutely. It changes our hormones, it changes the vibration. The vibration of grief is at about 50 to 100 because you can measure it. When we go into vibration of joy or love, that's above 500 to 1,000. That's a totally elevated vibration where you can feel different, where you can just, have you ever had that feeling where you just go down the street and the birds are singing and you just want to hop? You might not do it because, sometimes people are watching and
Right.
but you just feel like you just want to hop a little bit.
Yep.
That's the feeling.
Yep. Beautiful. Really
You're
great.
not going to go to war with that feeling.
Hmm. Well, what is it that if you could give my listeners or our listeners like one tip, like one thing that they should do each day if they're going to have a healthy life. I think I know where you're going here. I think it's pretty obvious, but can you put it in a succinct one sentence or two sentences? What should people do if they want to have a joyous, healthy life?
Make a decision that you are going to have a joyous, healthy life because it
Mm,
starts with the decision. And then whatever your joy is. So this is what I do. Actually, is I do like a VIP deep dive, one-on-one, really intense, joyful, happy, kind of let's find my joy that is buried. A lot of people don't know what their joy is. So that's where like I help. But also joy can be as simple as finding photos on your phone that connect you to that feeling, whether it's vacation or a grandchild or a pet or whatever it is, a flower. But make sure you have this every single day because and be grateful for it. If there is
hmm.
one thing that I can leave people, of course, besides dancing, because the dancing gypsy doctor is there are three words that you need to know. No, you don't have to say it, but you need to know that you can say no. And thank you.
No, and thank you.
That's it.
Mm,
Because thank you is for everything. And the more grateful we are, the more we have to be thankful for.
mm,
Thankful
hmm.
is I woke up this morning. Thankful is, although this is all covered in smoke right now and my eyes are burning, there is no fire around me right now, and there are people who are willing to protect
Mm.
the land, and I'm just grateful. Thank you, Dr. Fred, for allowing me to do my passionate, crazy ass self on your show.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, it's my honor. And there's something really even inside of speaking to this notion of dancing or this notion of laughing or this notion of being joyous or making decisions, where or making sure that you find the juice, that you find somewhere to actually land from. There's something about who you are that makes you a very attractive healer. It seems like if someone wants to be healed, if someone actually is into this game so that they can be healed, that they would be curious about what it is you have to offer. So, where do most of your customers come from? Is this from referrals or from word of mouth, or where do you get people typically?
I would say spirit always has a way of connecting the right people to me. So right now we have a group that is totally complimentary. We dance every night. And I posted on my page, there was a little bit of break for 2 weeks because I was on that VIP deep dive retreat. And that's when we dance. I offer a taste of transcendence because trying to explain to people what it is like explaining about meditation till you try, you don't know, or explaining about, we're all adults, right? About orgasm. You either can experience it or I can talk about it. So come join me even for 15-30 minutes. It doesn't matter. All movement levels, people after surgery, 4 left feet, nothing matters. And it will give people perspective on how magical it is to give body permission to speak
Mm-hmm.
and to connect to that part of us that is always there, always loving, always supporting, and always advising. So if we can hear it and stay in flow and have more embodiment, that's what the word has been. and it also creates connection. And that's
Hmm.
the word really right now is connection.
Yeah.
Sorely missed.
Yeah. Connection is what I go by as well. I have it that, human connection is at the heart of all healing, of all conditions, of
Hmm.
all type. Are you
Yes,
aligned with that? Yeah.
totally, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Some of the things that you're talking about, do you have mentors? Do you have, other than this 102-year-old woman, who else is someone and Bruce Lipton as well, you mentioned, who else are some of the people that you like to follow or read or refer people to?
I follow, well, I've been trained at Brave Thinking Institute with Mary Morrissey and her team. I've been trained by Jennifer Jimenez and coached, who is the founder of Transcendence. I've been trained by awesome physician Sachin Patel, who is the
Yeah.
founder of the Living Proof Institute. He was my client and I was his. So he was helping me with functional medicine part of it. I was helping him with mindset, and just to watch him is amazing.
Yeah. He's amazing.
I've yeah, I've taken courses from Brandon Bouchard. It's like I always there is Brandon is doing this thing that is absolutely amazing, which is called Growth Day, and he has all kinds of different mentors coming in at least twice a day. So David Buck, Mel Robbins. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people that are in that have so many cool ideas that and of course the people who are in or around medicine who have the guts to stand up to the system.
Hmm.
Those I really, really follow and appreciate, who speak up regardless of all the things that they have to face. And I know I'm speaking from my own experience because there are certain things that I find are against my freedoms. So I'm willing to deal with the consequences. So yes, those people are very dear and near to my heart.
Okay, cool. That's good. I have a similar affinity to those people. That's great. And how about your public speaking? Are you doing any public speaking at all these days? Are you getting on any stages and making a difference in that modality?
It kind of depends. There are some summits. I find there is some magic that happens when I can get people to come dance with me. So when I
Hmm.
was more stationary, I would put on classes. Right now, the group is going because it's not just about dancing, because then we have the connection time, and that's when magic happens. And sometimes we talk for 3 or 4 hours about really deep shit, excuse me, deep stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just laugh, and we always support and celebrate each other,
Hmm.
and you feel loved, you feel
Hmm.
seen
Hmm.
for nothing but being yourself. That's
Really
all.
cool. Yeah. Beautiful. And have you? Is there any kind of? Do you have like any kind of product that you're either selling? Is there something that you're promoting? Is there something on your website or something that you would like my listeners to know that you have that's worth checking out? Not that you, in and of yourself, aren't worth checking out for sure. And but I'm really asking: is there some other items, products, or services that we can bring to the attention of my listeners?
Well, in the grand scheme of things, I'm looking for a heart-centered investor because that's like the vision of how to create more connection, community, more appreciation and stuff. And what I am offering is for people to come taste that conscious, intuitive, free-form dance. Whether it's 15 minutes or 30 minutes or schedule one-on-one session, because it will be the most profound thing that you can probably do for yourself right now. And what I love to do is like that deep dive one-on-one where we really just have fun. We can talk about French toast, and it creates a question of who am I without my achievements? And then
Yeah,
you realize just as simple, cooking together. So that is a profound deep dive VIP retreat. That is my passion. That's where the
beautiful.
most transformation happens.
Okay, that's great. So, and where can people find out about that or more about you if they want to follow you, learn from you, grow with you, maybe become a customer? Where would they find you?
Right now, Facebook is the best place. The best thing is to text me directly because I travel so much. I'm not doing any regular anything. My website is just a landing page to connect you to me
Okay.
because
All
I'm
right.
not going to do the blogs and the articles. It's all about come dance with me, let's connect, and let's create a loving connection with more
Okay,
people.
beautiful. So let's make sure that I have contact to that and
You
contact
do.
to your beautiful. Already do, right? We sent that to
Yeah.
Joanne, I think. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And
We did.
we'll put that on the show notes on the front as well. Is there any questions you have for me or any final statement you want to say towards my listenership or anyone else who's listening, your listenership perhaps, that you think, now's a good time to let people know a particular one item?
Well, I'm beyond grateful because anytime I get to talk about dancing, I get to talk about dancing. Whichever way I can support people, for me, this is why I am on this earth, is
Hmm.
to help people feel they're enough and find that peace. And of course, dancing for me is the way. So, whichever way I can help you, Dr. Fred, because you said you had some challenges,
I
and
did.
let me tell you, come dance with me one on one. You'd be blown away what your body has to tell you.
Well, it's interesting. My wife is a major dancer. The two of you have met. My wife is a major Argentine tango dancer. And so we
Yes.
talk about dancing all the time. And I probably don't dance as much as I should. And she thinks that as well. In fact, she's going dancing in just a couple hours and I'm not joining her. But,
Well, but
and
this is different. This is
yeah, this
different.
is different. Right.
Hmm.
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 Right. And so I really appreciate that. Thank you for letting me know. And just for my listeners, and just to remind you, is so that we don't keep it a secret. On March 20th, I had a ruptured aortic aneurysm, an emergency ruptured aortic aneurysm right here in this room, where I was left to either call for an emergency or say goodnight to the whole picture. And we called the 911, and before too long, they came and took me to the small hospital, which then had to transfer me to a big hospital. And I had open heart surgery on March 20th, where they repaired my ascending aorta coming out of the root of my heart with a wrap of Dacron. They repaired my bicuspid valve, and they even did some abdominal work just for the boot of it and into my mesenteric arteries. And here I am. Here I am. Living, breathing soul, like incredible. And certainly that is a potentially fatal event, and
Very much
I'm here
so.
for a reason as well. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Because you haven't finished your mission yet.
that's right. That's the only reason I would still be left for sure.
And I really, really, really invite you to come dance because this event in traditional Chinese medicine, they say, Shen, your spirit resides in your heart. So let's dance a little bit to create more love and healing for your heart.
Well, that's great. And maybe you can send me the information or put it in the chat or to Facebook so that I know exactly how I can do that, if I can do it online, and what we can do together here.
Well, you just tell me which times and I will accommodate whichever way I can.
Okay, we can do that. Let's interact on DM and Facebook, and we'll get that done.
totally.
Alla, it's really been wonderful. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for being a healed healer. Thank you for being someone who heals healers. And thank you for being someone who's just a natural healer inside of this crazy world where healing is in abundant need. And so, really, I totally appreciate the joy and the laughter and the dance and the movement and the good spirit that you bring forth. And it's just been a deep honor to reconnect with you today and to introduce you to my listeners. So, I thank you again for being on the Healthy Healer.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, you're welcome. And to my listeners, isn't it just great? We're going to have an outro that'll complete this conversation where I speak a little bit more. But I just want you to realize that Al and I had a great time, and I hope you had a great time listening to us. And we will catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.